Hello again, everyone. This is Game Collector here, and this week's review is the ZGMF-X13A Providence Gundam. Here's its box, and this is something I've had for a while now. There's kind of a weird story behind it. This was actually right before he passed away. This is the last figure my grandfather helped me get. It's also the last one he saw while he was in the hospital, because I didn't see him while he was in hospice, which I partially regret. Anyway, also a little bit of bad news. The info card that this thing came included with, I don't have it anymore. Well, I have it, I just have no idea where I put it. But that's the general idea of that thing down there. There it is. Stuff we'll be looking at, and images and things. It's Mobile Suit in Action. I wanted to do the advanced MSIA Buster Gundam, because I have that, but that thing's joints are so loose it would not make a good review at all. So instead, we're going to do this guy with featuring him. The reason the Strike Gundam is not getting its own review is because a few reasons. While it's not broken, enough of its parts are missing to where it can't be reviewed properly, along with minor joint damage. So, yeah. You get the idea. But for now, we're going to focus on this bad boy here. And by bad boy, this is the thing that appeared in the last 2 or 3 episodes of the series. I never actually saw that much of Gundam Seed, and I saw all of Destiny, and I don't know if I'm a better person for seeing something that awful and living through it, because I now know what to avoid, or if I should have been better off not watching it, because Destiny was god-awful. It was terrible, cliche, and 90% of it, well, probably 75 to 80% of it was stock footage. I mean, 3 entire episodes were made entirely of stock footage! You don't do that! That's a sign that you're giving up! To be honest, I think the writers gave up about halfway through, because everything stopped making sense. And it became a gigantic cluster fart. Or clusterfuck in this case. But again, let's not focus on that. We'll be focusing on that in like 2 or 3 weeks when I bring out the Destiny Gundam. Yeah. Also the MSIA version. Wish I had the Robot Damashi, because those things are so much better, but I'll make do. Anyway, this thing comes with a gigantic Mega Bazooka, which unfortunately completely hinders its opposability, and it can't actually hold it straight up unless you remove its Dragoon from there, and even then, it looks absolutely ridiculous. It can't even hold the thing two-handed, even though the handle can turn. So we're going to get rid of this thing and reattach the Dragoon. And instead we're going to give this thing the Strike Gundam's rifle, because it's way more practical for this mobile suit. Here it is. And the Strike Gundam, yeah, that's the American version that came out in, like, God, I want to say 2002, 2003. It was really early on. But see, there it is. It can hold it just perfectly. It doesn't, and now it can actually pose a bit. Speaking of posability, can arms all the way out. Double jointed elbow, as for the standard MSIA. The hands are on ball joints. So, there's that. And yes, it comes with an assortment of interchangeable hands, which the Strike Gundam is now missing. It's also missing its beam sabers. So, yeah. Kind of a downer there. Though, if we really want to get into weird and missing hands, the Providence Gundam is missing one of its hands. Just one of them. Its right fist. I lost it in my grandfather's house. I'm talking about the grandfather who passed away. I lost it in his house about 2 weeks after he had passed away, and I never found it. My aunt, who used to live with him, his daughter, no longer lives there, and the house is now technically abandoned, and I'm sure some of my stuff is still in it, but we never go back because it's in a very bad part of town. Anyway, I lost that one hand, and it's gone. I've never seen it again, and I've assumed that my grandfather, in a sense, took it with him, because he died in his own house. And honestly, if I wanted to die anywhere, it would be in my own home. Just saying. So yeah, that's a bit of the backstory behind this thing, and I really don't mess with this thing that much because it reminds me of my grandfather. He was a good man. So, with the feels out of the way, it has this universal shield weapon system, defense system. That's a shield. Those two little black things right there are gun barrels. That little red line right there, that's for its beam saber. Well, it's more like a beam club, honestly, because holy crap, that thing is huge! It's like a friggin' Excalibur up in here. The sword is as big as it is. Or let's... Yeah! Or just about. The blade goes from the feet just about up to the top of the chest. Oh my god, that's a big energy blade. This thing could cut stuff. And while we're talking about cutting things, you might as well be talking about shooting things, because its little Dragoon pods can be detached, and they're a pain in the ass to reattach, save for the 3 giant ones. And in total, it has 2, 4, 6, 8, and then there the 2 on the back. 10, 12. I don't remove these because they're a pain in the ass to move around and put back in. There's a 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And then we have the last ones. These have like 9 each on them, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 facing forward. So 9 times 3 plus 16. I'm going to check that now. 9 times 3 plus 16 equals... It has 43 barrels attached to its body, and it's powered by a nuke. Look at those thrusters, too. It's got some big boosters on it. And at any given time, you can actually have 12 barrels facing forward, plus the rifle, and that makes 13. And then the 2 on the combat arm, which is let's see, wait. Yeah, 15. Jesus. And then you have 1, 2, 3 from these things right here, the side-mounted barrels on them. So that's 15 plus 3. In total, it can have 18 barrels facing forward at any given time. Wow! That's a lot of firepower. And like I said, I've never actually seen the second half of Seed. I watched it when it used to be on Cartoon Network, before the time schedule for it started to fluctuate, when it was on Saturday nights. I'd watch it at my grandfather's house. Again, bringing up my grandfather in there. Anyway, I used to watch it there, and when they started to screw around with the schedule, I left off during the desert arc with the Bokyus or whatever. The things that look like dog Zakus. I have no idea what those things are called. I'm really not that big on C. The only suits I know are the actual Gundams, which you probably shouldn't be surprised because they were trying to throw you Gundams in that series so many times. As for continuity-related weapons on this thing, the Vulcan guns on it... Let me remove this thing. There. Alright. They really haven't decided, so it technically has Vulcan guns mounted on its torso and inside of its head. I'm going to use the blade here so I can point it out to you. Right there, that little gray point, not that one at the bottom, but the one above that crown piece. No, below the crown piece, right where the kind of gray starts to end and it goes into like that black gray. Although I gotta say, I do dig this thing's head, because I really like that crown design, even though it's supposed to be based off Rao or Roux le Crescent. I've seen Gundam Seed abridged, and that is just frickin' hilarious. Roux le Crescent! And he talks like a Frenchman all the time. It's hilarious. I don't remember where I saw it, but that's where it was. As for, featuring Strike Gundam, this thing is most appropriately outfitted with the Providence's bazooka. Like I said, the Providence looks more appropriate carrying a standard rifle than it does this gigantic Death Zuka. And the Strike Gundam looks more appropriate carrying the Death Zuka than it does the tiny rifle. Also, my Strike Gundam is a lefty because its hands are missing. It only has the holding thing hand for the right side. Its rifle hand, the extended trigger finger hand, that's gone for the right hand. And I think I have the fists. Yeah, I have both of the fists and the holding thing's hands. Wait. I only have the fist and holding thing's hands for the right hand. This is confusing. And I'm also missing the beam sabers, the actual blades, not the handles. I had it just right before we started this. Oh dear. Okay, come on. Off-camera work in progress. Sorry about that. I got my Wii U last Friday, and I just got done playing Wonderful 101. I played the demo for it, which is actually kind of fun. I might pick that up eventually. And it's, when I say last Friday, it's, today is the 23rd of July. And also, I have a beta of Destiny, because one of the gotta give a shout out to Breakman Z of the Gamers Embassy for giving me that demo code for it. And you'll probably see our exploits sometime this week, or that week that I just named. You won't be seeing this review probably until the 1st of August, so you'll have already seen it if you watch my stuff and Z and Black Hat stuff, because we're reassembling we reassembled Fireteam Crimson, and we're doing that thing that we are doing that I just told you about. So, stuff. and things. And here's the Skyhammer, or whatever the heck this jet thing was called, I forgot. And there's the Ale Striker pack. Blades up. Saber handles up. Thrusters down. Oh, come on. Also, this thing doesn't like to cooperate too much, so we'll plug it in. Ale Striker Bazooka! And yeah, Ale Striker Bazooka. There's his cameo. We're going to put him back over there. He's going to go right back on the display shelf when we're done here. So, this thing also has leg articulation. So I'm going to raise those up, but its legs are kind of wonky because this thing forms the skirt armor, and neither of the legs is really synchronized with the other because one of the joints in here is a little loose, so that's why I really didn't want to show it off. But it does have double jointed knees and ball jointed hips and double ball jointed feet. So yeah. As for having a left hand, there we go. It does, and it's a fist. Because this little thing, it just, whoa, almost fell over. It plugs into that little hole right on the side of the arm. The right arm also has it if you feel like making it swapping the hands out. But I didn't. Figured I'd just leave it with the holding things or the extended trigger finger hand. Here's the little shield. Here's the part that holds it in place. And there it is, assembled without the arm in it. Looks like it should be like a funnel or something. Or a dragoon, as they call it in friggin' Seed. There's always different weapon names for it. It's like bits, funnels, fangs. Although bit seems to be the most common use. You have sword bits, rifle bits, bazooka bits, and scissor bits from Gundam 00. Fin fangs from 00 as well. Rose bits from G Gundam. Fin funnels from Mobile Suit Gundam, and the big bits are also from Mobile Suit Gundam, so yeah. Okay. And reflector bits and shield bits, also from Mobile Suit Gundam, but yeah. Well, reflector bits were introduced in either Zeta or Double Zeta as a portion of the... God damn it, my brain is blanking out on me. Psycho Gundam Mark II, and shield bits were given to the Unicorn Gundam in the final episode of Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn for the OVA. Either the final episode or the second to last, episode 6 or 7. Yeah, there are 7 movies for Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. They're about an hour and a half to 2 hours long. All of them together would be 14 hours, from beginning to end, non-stop. And just to fill you in even more about Mobile Suit Gundam, if you had watched every single episode of Mobile Suit Gundam, all of the series that came after it, up to the ending of Turn A Gundam, it would take you an entire week without food, drink, bathroom breaks, or sleep to watch. That's how much time it would take you. If you didn't take any breaks at all, for any given reason, it would take you an entire week to watch all of Gundam, from the very first episode of Mobile Suit Gundam all the way to the very last episode of Turn A. Yeah. That's kind of crazy, but it's a thing. And with that little bit of pointless trivia out of the way, we're going to just remove as many these little There's the one on the left. One on the right. Top. Above the shoulders. And so on. I also lost the instruction manual for this thing, which should be in the same packet as the card, but whatever. Well, anyway, that's been this episode of that's been this episode anyway. You won't be seeing another Gundam for another couple weeks, but you will be seeing stuff from Michael Bay's latest clusterfuck of a movie that came out not too long ago. But even if the movie is mediocre, and I've been hearing nothing but mixed reviews about it, you'll be seeing stuff about that next week. Here's a Gundam. Look at it so you don't think about that thing I just previously mentioned. Look at it! Okay, bye.